Hello, boys and girls. So, I've had a couple of questions about my process. How do I proceed when I'm sketching out ahead, and what is my end goal? A lot of people are intimidated by the 1000 head sketch challenge because they think that they have to sit and render out a bunch of 6 hour portraits when that's not the case. Now, doing long value studies has its place. You learn how light reacts around the different structures of the face. You learn light and shadow. You learn how to render things like that. There's a lot of important lessons that can be learned from doing a longer study like that. However, for the 1000 head sketch challenge, like I said in my last video, you want to make sure and keep your sketches brief, 10 to 15 minutes tops. That way you can do it in a reasonable amount of time. I mean, you want to average maybe about, I would say, 4 to 5 heads sketch an hour. Um, and that'll pay rich dividends. You learn a lot from studying various types of faces in various positions, various different facial structures, different sexes, different races. You just learn a lot about the skeletal structure, about the muscles in the face, the planes of the face, um, and also when you have a very short amount of time, you can't sit there and noodle and render forever and ever. Sometimes value in rendering can be a crutch. However, um, if you're forced to draw something quickly, you have to rely on line. And this is one of the things that people have to learn how to master if they're going to be successful in the commercial arts industry, like if you're going to be doing comic books or animation. I mean, sure, there are a lot of concept artists who do these very beautiful alla prima, um, you know, um, concept paintings, speed paintings, things like that, and they get by with that, and that works for them. But oh, excuse the pink blanket. It's cold, and that's all I could find. Anyway, so yeah, so that's the deal. Anyway, so I know this is really bad camera work, but I'm just gonna turn my laptop camera here towards my board, and I'm gonna bust out a quick sketch. It's not gonna be a Picasso. Well, maybe I should think of a better art. It's not gonna be an Andrew Loomis. Let's put it like that, or a George Bridgman. It's just gonna be something quick. One of the things that I don't do is I don't obsess about whether or not the head is perfect, whether or not everything that I'm doing is perfect, because it's about the process. If you go through the process of doing the 1000 heads, you will improve. You will get better. It is almost impossible if you do this consistently, and if you do this with a fair amount of focus, it's almost impossible not to improve. So if I do a bad drawing, I don't get upset. I don't beat myself up over it. I know that I will live to draw another day. So anyway, that's my deal. Before I start, what do I use? I use these. Can you see that? They are Tombow high quality drafting pencils, high precision drafting pencils is what it says here. I use specifically HB. You can get these at online at Dick Blick. Um, they're a little bit hard to find. Uh, I I like these pencils because they feel like pencils crafted by the hand of God. I don't know how to explain it. The touch and the feel, they don't smear like other types of pencils. They're not brittle. Um, I hate Faber-Castell pencils. They're very brittle. I don't like the way that they go down on the paper. And then the Derwents are nice, but they're too soft, and they tend to smear, in my opinion. This is sort of a nice, um, middle ground, a nice compromise between something brittle and something a little softer. Also, it's a much better quality than Mars or Stadler pencils. Mars pencils, I'm not a big fan at all. So yes, these black Tombow pencils with the tan sort of band, that's what I like the most. Okay, What do I use for paper? Everybody has their own preferences. I like um, cheap, white, multi-purpose copy paper. Yes, that's what I like to draw on. It's does the trick for me. And notice I said cheap. A ream of 500 sheets for about $8. Can you beat that? Whereas you go and you buy a sketchbook, which has maybe 100 sheets, for about $10. Unless you're going to be doing some serious rendering where you really, really need that that tooth and that high quality paper, it's a kind of a waste. I do, I don't see anything wrong with keeping sketchbooks, but if I'm just gonna be rocking out lots of doodles, I like this. I keep it on my clipboard, and if I get tired of looking at it, then I can always kind of push it into that pile with the other drawings. Anyway, all right. Like I said, bad camera work. You'll have to forgive me, but let's pull this a little closer. Here goes nothing. Position that right. Okay. So I always like to just start with sort of a little circle there. I'll do another demo a little bit later where the camera's positioned better, but this is just a little quickie. There's a center line. Um, Maybe I'll kind of rough out, you know, some shape for the face. None of this is permanent. This is just all me trying to figure stuff out quickly. And I'll just start with a little rough little sketch. Nothing spectacular. So I get my sphere representing the cranium, center line, eyebrow line here with that horizontal line. And then, first, what I like to do is I like to draw the facial features from the inside out. Start with this sort of bridge between the eyebrows. Can you see that? This is better. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so first thing I'm doing is just kind of laying out where the eyebrows are. Just okay. I'm just kind of roughing in some structure. Okay. Now, um, establishing the hairline right here. Now, the face is broken up into three parts. You have hairline to eyebrow line should be about equal from um, eyebrow line to the bottom of the nose, and that should be about equal um, to the space from um, bottom of the nose to the bottom of the chin. Um, yes, I am missing part of my finger. Thank you for noticing. It's been like that since I was 2. And I can still draw like a beast or a boss, depending on how you're looking at it. Okay, so I'm roughing in sort of my eye shape. Okay, some of the info around the eye. Okay, so here's what I got so far.
Who would have thought I could put the laptop right on my lap and put my arms around it? That's kind of genius. At some point, I'll have somebody film some cooler demos, but you know, when I see a question and I get the urge to answer it immediately, sometimes it's midnight, like right now. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me explain to you what I'm doing now. Now I'm getting in some structure for the nose. I'm getting in that septum. Okay, now I'm getting into zygomatics, or cheekbones is the common name. And notice I'm keeping everything real, sort of rough. Just gonna get in some lips right now. I always like to start with the center line, and then you can make, depending on what the race of your subject is going to be, of your sketch, you can make those lips fuller or more narrow. Obviously, if you're going to be drawing somebody who's, you know, African American, you're going to have fuller lips. And yes, there are African Americans with thin lips. Thank you for the lesson and not stereotyping and things like that. But you know what? Let me tell you something. Get over it. Art is about the quick read, and sometimes you need to resort to things that are more common, i.e., stereotypes, in order to make sure that your audience can read quickly what you're trying to show, and so they can move on with the rest of the story. If they're sitting there trying to figure out what the sex is of a character or the race or whatever, then that could interfere with them picking up other important aspects of your storytelling. Okay, so here I'm just pulling out a little bit of fleshy stuff around the chin. Here's your orbicularis oris right in here. Your chin, mandible. Now you have to forgive me. I'm not as hot as I normally am with these sketches. I've been doing a lot of animation style character design, and it's kind of messed me up a little bit. It's like training karate for years and then taking Wing Chun Kung Fu. And okay, now I'm drawing the shape for the hair. Okay, so I'm at 14 minutes on this video. I know with YouTube you can only upload a 15-minute video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause it right now. Here's the basic sketch. If I had to move on, I'd be happy. I'd be happy with that. But I'm going to pause here and come back and just touch it up a little bit.